Hey, welcome back. Well, the World Health Organization issuing its first ever global guidelines for GLP-1 drugs, recommending them for long-term use to assist in treating obesity. But the recommendation, it's conditional. Scientists say they need more long-term data on the drug's safety and efficacy. Joining us now, public health senior contributor for Forbes, Dr. Omer Awan. It is wonderful to have you, doctor, in studio. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, great to be here. Thanks, Kelly.
Great to have you. So many questions about this. First off, obviously this recommendation being conditional kind of perks your ears up. So do you have any major concerns about some of the ramifications of prescribing these drugs?
Well, definitely conditional because we don't know long-term data on the safety and efficacy of these drugs. Now, these are very powerful drugs. I mean,
Right.
They can really decrease someone's weight up to even 20% of their body weight. But we don't know, for example, 10 or 20 years from now, what the safety profile is for these drugs. And that's concerning, right? Because so many people, we have millions of people on these drugs. There's 1 billion people that are obese throughout the world. So we have to be a little bit vigilant and cautious before we really prescribe these and make these really readily available for everyone.
Absolutely. So we know some of the benefits of dropping weight and how that can assist with maybe other medical issues. But are there some warning signs to look out for if you're on one of these drugs, if you're thinking about them, if your doctor prescribed you one, anything to be on high alert for if you experience yourself?
Well, generally, they're very safe and they work well. They're very well tolerated by most people. Obviously, they have certain side effects like, nausea, vomiting, constipation, diarrhea, but there are some more serious side effects that I think people should be aware about before they take the drug, and that is inflammation of the pancreas, for example, inflammation of the gallbladder, and it's even been linked to a rare form of thyroid cancer. So that's something that people should really understand before they take some of these drugs and commit to it, because these are drugs that are meant to be taken for the long term, pretty much your whole life once you're on them.
Wow, yeah, serious. So the president withdrew from the WHO, as you know. How does that impact guidance for American patients?
Well, I think the World Health Organization is an authority on public health and world and global health. And I think when they make a recommendation, it's more for us to listen to that recommendation and to take it seriously, despite what the federal government is doing. And what I think that this does is that this really legitimizes the use of obesity medication for treating obesity, and it treats it as something that should be done and shouldn't go with stigma or blame. And this really, obesity requires real treatment. It's an effective drug, and it should be available for everyone. And what we're seeing now is that very few people can get the drug. The World Health Organization described that less than 10% of people who need it are actually getting the drug, and that's a problem.
Well, I want to ask you about that because affordability, availability, those are some big concerns. So how does this potentially change the landscape in those areas?
It significantly changes it because if we take a look globally, not just the United States, but globally, 70% of people with obesity live in low-income areas. And that means that they're not getting these medications, and they can't afford these medications. And here in the United States, there has been progress, with President Trump and the Most Favored Nation plan, where he's allowing these drugs to be much more affordable, quite frankly, but that's not the case everywhere around the world. We need to be vigilant about that. We need to make it more accessible so for people who really need it in these low-income areas can actually get an access to drugs.
Interesting. Also, impacts of this for the folks with, who are suffering from complications with obesity or just obesity in and of itself. What sort of ramifications does this have? Does this development have?
Well, I think what it does is it elevates the speaking points for obesity. I think it allows people to really understand what obesity is, and it provides more awareness. And I think that's the key here. This is, for too long, people have been blamed for being obese. They haven't understand that, there are biological components to obesity as well. And it's important for us to take a multifaceted approach. And I appreciate that the WHO did say that, a drug is not going to solve the obesity epidemic, right?
Yes.
It requires, physical activity, good nutrition, and counseling. And that's an important public health message for people to understand.
Well, I think taking a holistic approach, getting with a doctor that you trust, and also, committing to something long-term like this can be scary. So, take every precaution, and, we'll wait and see what the data shows here. But it's great to get your insight in the interim.
Yeah,
Dr.
my pleasure.
Awan, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much,
Thank
Kelly.
you.